Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to Seriously Arabic, where we learn a bit about Quran and its grammar. And this session will be very technical and I will introduce a lot of terminology as well. So pay attention because we're delving right into the roots of Arabic. Words in Arabic have root letters. These are like the building blocks, and then you can use these building blocks to make more words. So if you have a look at these three words here, we have kitabun, maktabun and maktubun. Now the letters that appear in all of these three words in the same order are ka, ta and ba. Whereas the alif, the mim and the waw, they don't appear in every single one of these. And in fact, kataba is actually the root letters of these three words. And recognizing the root letters of a word is important for two reasons. One is that the dictionaries use a root-based system to sort out words, because Arabic words are made from root letters, and then you can get all of the words that are derived from these root letters in the dictionary. And the second thing is that if you know the meaning of the word made by the root letters, for example, kataba means to write, you can get an essence of what the derived words would mean. So for example, maktubun means letter, which is to do with writing, which obviously links back to the root letters, which together they form the verb he wrote. And I can give you another example, which is wahdatun, wahidun and wahidun. As you can see, the tamarbuta, the alif and the ya, which I have already highlighted, are all extra. They're an addition to the root letters, which are wa, ha and da. So in the dictionary, like the Hansware, you would look for the word wahada, and then under that title, you'd be able to find all of these words made from the three root letters, wahada. And the recognition of root letters gets better with practice and also by identifying scales. Scales known as wazan in Arabic, and the plural is awzan. And these are templates. Root letters can be placed into these templates to form a word, and words on a particular scale give a similar type of meaning, and I will give you an example of that. So the standard way of writing a scale is to use the word fa'ala, and fa'ala are essentially placeholders, and I really like the term placeholders because in computer science a placeholder is a string of characters or text which is temporary, and you're going to fill that place up with your own data that is important. So the fa is the first root letter. The fa is considered the first root letter, and that we label it as the fa'ul kalima. So the first root letter of any word, it will be labeled fa'ul kalima, which is of course is labeled like that because we use the standard fa'ala, and fa is the first root letter of the word fa'ala, of course. And then the second root letter is labeled as ainul kalima, named after this ain in the word fa'ala. And the third root letter is labeled as lamul kalima. And here's how the scales work with an example. So we have the scale fa'ilun, and words on this scale usually give the meaning of an adjective, and we're going to use the root letters saghu and saghura, which this means this is the verb to be small. So sad is going to be your fa kalima, your ghain is going to be the ain kalima because this is the second root letter, and your ra is going to be labeled as the lam kalima. Now wherever you have the fa in the fa'ilun, you're going to replace it with the first root letter that we're using. So the sad, which is the first root letter, will replace the fa in the template. So we're going to put a sad here. The ghain, which is the ain kalima, will replace the ain in the template, which is going to be a ghain over here. And the ra will replace the lam in the template. The letter ya is extra. It's not part of the root letters fa'ala, so we just bring it down. And in the end, we get the word saghirun, because the scale is fa'ilun and you also get the same haircut, so it's saghir. And saghir means small. And other words on this scale are, for example, kabir, which means big, kareem, which means generous, and sa'id, which means happy. Now, if you are able to recognize the fa'il is a scale and the fa and lam are the root letters, then it would be super easy to realize that the ya is extra. The ya in the word saghir is extra, and the saghura are actually the root words. Other tips I can give you are that the alif is never considered a root letter The hamza can be a root letter. Hamza is different, but the alif is never a root letter. Another tip is that the mim at the beginning of a word is usually not a root letter. So for example, if you have masjidun, this mim at the beginning is not a root letter. Sajada are the root letters. And the ta marbuta is never a root letter. So if you come across a 3-lettered word and the last letter is a ta marbuta, chances are that there has been a root letter that has been deleted. The ta marbuta is never a root letter. So an example of that would be the word idatun. So this word has 3 letters, but the ta is not a root letter, which means that there is one root letter that is missing that you don't know. So idatun can't be the root letters alone. The reason for that is because an ism can never have 2 root letters. Only minimum it has 3 root letters. So there is one root letter missing, which is wa'ada. And in fact, some other facts are that the ism and the fa'il, they have minimum 3 root letters. And the ism has a maximum of 5 root letters. Now that is rare. 5 and 4 root letters are quite rare. And the fa'il have a maximum of 4 root letters, and that's also rare. Majority of the times you'll be trying to figure out only 3 root letters of a word. And that is to say that root letters are not always present in a word. You don't always see them. Sometimes they are deleted. So for example, the wow here has been deleted. But in most cases, the root letters are already found in the word itself. And this root letter thing and scales, they're very important when it comes to fa'il. So now we'll just discuss that a little bit more because it is used to classify verbs. And by classification, I mean the verbs are divided based on their root letters. It's one way we categorize and we differentiate between types of verbs. So we said that verbs can only have 3 root letters or 4. Now verbs that have 3 root letters, they are called thulathi. So thulathi means having 3 root letters. And then you have rubai. Rubai comes from the word rub'un. Raba'a are the root letters of this word. Now raba means 4 root letters. So verbs that only have 4 root letters. Then there is a category of verb that only contains root letters, and that is mujarrad. Mujarrad means a verb that only has 3 root letters. So for example, karuma. Karuma, which means he became noble or to be noble, is made of 3 root letters only. And you have mazid fihi. These are words that have 3 root letters plus extra. So for example, akrama, which means to honor someone. The hamza here at the beginning, this is an extra addition that has been made. It is part of the verb. Akrama together, it's a verb, but this hamza here is extra. Karuma are the root letters of this verb, and hamza at the beginning is extra. Moving on to the rubai, you have some verbs which are rubai mujarrad, so they only have 4 root letters. For example, dahraja, and this is not common at all. If you were to look up in the dictionary the meaning of dahraja, you won't be able to find it under haraja or dahara or dahara. You'd have to look at dahraja, 4 root letters. You have to look at 4 root letters. And then you have rubai mazid fihi, which have 4 root letters plus extra letters. So for example, tadahraja. The ta here is extra, so if you were to look up this word in the dictionary, you'd have to look at the word dahraja, and under that one you should find also the word tadahraja, because the ta is extra and dahraja are the 4 root letters. Now if I have the verb karumat, for example, the root letters are karumat, and this ta sakin is extra. That means she became noble is the here version. But would this ta make this verb classified as a mazid fihi only because it has an extra ta? The answer is no, because this ta is an addition that is made to show you that there is the pronoun here inside it, and it's a temporary addition. It's not permanent. The ta sakin is not present in every single sigha of the verb. To see if a verb is mujarrad or mazid fihi, you have a look at the huwa version. So if I give you another example, you have the verb nasara. The huwa version is free from any additions. So nasara only has 3 root letters. So this is mujarrad. But if you have a look at the huwa version of another word, for example, istansara, which means to seek help, you can see that the ist at the beginning, this is all extra. The root letters are nasara. So istansara would be classified as a mazid fihi verb because it has 3 root letters and an additional of more extra letters. And these root letters plus the extra letters, they are always there in every single sigha of the verb. So you can put the verb istansara under the conjugation table. So you can say istansara, istansara, istansaru, istansarat. But you can see the extra letters, they always remain there. As for this ta and all the other additions that are made, so the alif for example, karuma or dik or karumna, these are additions that are made but they're not permanent, whereas the extra letters are always permanent in a word. But the key thing is that to figure out if a word is mujarrad or mazid fihi, you're just gonna have to look at the huwa version of it, so the wahid mudhakkar ghaib sigha, and that will tell you if that word has only 3 root letters or extra root letters, and very rarely you will have 4 root letters and then 4 root letters plus extra. And that is it for today. I hope I have been clear, and I really wanted to make a short session on understanding root letters and scales and how we use that to classify verbs and how we figure out these root letters from the words.
My time has come. You must continue your journey without me.
What are you... What?